The Iranian analyst and Iran international journalist Morad Vaisi believes that an attack, an all-out operation where Israel will join, is very imminent. It's about to happen. You have other prominent Iranian analysts like Capital reports, so Arash Alai, who believe that no, this is going to take a lot longer. So we have good experts, both sides of the spectrum, giving their opinions of this. The Americans seem to all pretty much agree on one thing, except for the ones who, of course, say the Islamic Republic has come out stronger, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Most of them believe Donald Trump is running out of patience, and we should act sooner than later because of, X, Y, and Z that we've said before. The Israelis are rearing to go, and here's my thoughts on the Israelis. So the Israelis obviously very much want to get involved. Their reputation in the Middle East is very low. Most of the Arab countries hate their guts for none other than the fact that they're Jewish. And they might be told, hey, let's tone it down a bit by the US just to try and keep tensions in the Middle East a little bit lower. If the US is trying to pull the Arab countries closer to their side, they may want to distance themselves from the Israelis a little bit. I think we saw that over the past couple of months. I think now we're seeing Israel and the US get closer, as they did just have a pretty good meeting, and the Israelis seem very happy. Netanyahu and his team seem very happy as a result of that meeting, which means Netanyahu, who is anxious for his September elections, September or October, is being optimistic. And that is a very unusual thing. If I was him, I'd be quite nervous. So either he knows he's going to win, or he is happy with what Trump is saying. This all-out attack can be seen in various ways. What the United States could choose to do is target the energy infrastructure of Iran. It can knock out the power plants, and it could sit back. Now, that would be the absolute worst case for the Iranian people, create a huge humanitarian crisis for an already, 60-70% of the population who's under the poverty line. And that would absolutely cripple the IRGC. A lot of collateral damage. Option 2, land invasion, seize the south of Iran, take the ports, cut the supply lines. The IRGC can't reinforce. The IRGC can't get supplies into the country. Largely the same effect here, where they suffocate economically. Now, the blockade is already doing that to a large extent. So land invasion with troops in the south, not a super high priority. Option 3, kill IRGC leadership. Take them out. Cause chaos within. You see that Ghalibaf at the moment, we've talked about him for months now, has pulled the Islamic Republic together to some extent. Take him out. Collapse the structure that he's built. Cause chaos within the ranks of the Islamic Republic until someone, which doesn't exist, might come forward and try to negotiate. And then that in itself would create so much more division. So that's another option. 4, recognize Prince Reza Pahlavi, government in exile, support him and his support the Iranian people, and recognize Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi as the leader of this movement. Arm the Iranian people, etc., etc. Are there any other options that you have? Oh, right. Option number 5, the one that people want to perhaps see the most, is the 5x5. So 5 days, $5 billion, drop every single munition you possibly have on every forehead of the IRGC you can find, and destroy them completely and utterly so that people can rise up. This would checkpoints, police stations, IRGC bases, armories, etc. Is there any option in addition to that, or anything that you think in particular?
I think the emphasis, all of that is good, but the emphasis should be on arming the Iranian people under the leadership of Prince Reza Pahlavi with coordination with his team. If I wanted to add to it, I would say get some oil tankers of the Islamic Republic, sell it in the free market, get the money get the Iranian people to sell it in the free market, give it to the Iranian people and get the revenue for them to pay the Americans for air support and the Ukrainians for drones and training, and get Prince Reza Pahlavi and his team and Mossad and the Americans involved in the vetting, training, arming, that is, and get all southern Iran away from the Islamic Republic after you first wipe out. This is important. The first thing needs to be wiping out the entire leadership. Israelis could do that because you don't want to have that army go up while the Islamic Republic is shooting missiles left and right. You need to basically make sure that there is no decision-making ability by the Islamic Republic by killing everybody that could even has the potential of making a decision. Israelis are good at that, so just unleash them upon them. Also, one thing that is important is that when you're taking out the leadership, it's very important to not just take out the leadership in Tehran and in Bandar Abbas, because remember, most IRGC leaders are in Tehran, but the Bandar Abbas has a Navy IRGC leaders. But on top of Tehran and Bandar Abbas, the 32 regional commanders of IRGC need to also be taken out. So there is no, the mosaic structure of Jafari would not be able to make it so that they could continue to operate even with that central command.
And the IRGC response or strategy is pretty much, I would think, three-pronged. They're going to wait for three things. One is the region in the Middle East going to run out of missile interceptors. Two, are the Republicans going to lose the midterms? Or three, is the oil reserves of the United States going to run out or get dangerously low, which it is approaching that. It's the lowest it's been in 40 years. What other option do they have other than dragging this out, trying to wait? Is there any agency that they have here?
Who the agency there?
The Islamic Republic.
Yeah, so here are the things they could do, the list of things they could do. The main thing that they have right now is the fact that oil infrastructure and water desalination plants across the Middle East are sitting there, and they are very vulnerable, and there is not enough defense system out there to be able to protect them. That's a card that they have that they don't really want to play, because that if you play that card fully, the whole world will come against you, right? Like you will create such global unity to come and remove you. But you do want to remind people, if you're the Islamic Republic, that you do have that card by sometimes hitting some oil infrastructure, right? That's why they did it in Saudi Arabia, right? The other card that they have is that their understanding is two main limitations by United States. Strategic oil reserves being dangerously low, but munition stockpiles being dangerously low. So one thing you could do is that you could keep shooting missiles at American bases, not because you think it will hit, but because you know Americans have to use it and use the THAAD and Patriot system, and they don't want to use it because it's not just the Islamic Republic that they have to deal with. The United States needs to always worry about, if they get too low, what if something else happens somewhere around the world and they don't have enough munitions to deal with that. Some people say you don't need to worry about that because China is not going to get involved in any wars anytime soon. Their economic situation and their military readiness is not at a level that they would want to do anything. Neither is Russia. Russia has a lot of problems already to deal with economically, and Ukraine is on them. They have a bigger problem to deal with right now. That is true. Like, the chances of them getting involved might be low, but you don't want to take that risk, right? Like, if you're in the United States, you don't want to just be exposed to other countries wanting to try their luck with you just because you don't have enough defense munitions. Again, you could blame. Amu Jeff always reminds us that you could blame Biden for all of this, because he's the one who didn't basically, he slowed down the production of missile interceptors for us to even be in this situation.
Absolutely. So I think that card is the next card that the Islamic Republic is going to play. I think what we can see is that the Islamic Republic is going to ramp up its attacks on the energy infrastructure of the Persian Gulf countries, so Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, etc. And it's been doing that. So it hit Kuwait, it hit 2 power plants and desalination plants in Kuwait, knocking a part of them out of service. And we covered that for you guys over the past few weeks. And we didn't really see a large response to that. So Kuwait and Bahrain, while they did join in on the attacks and give the US full blessings, we haven't really seen too, large of a response for something that these countries have said is their red line. We haven't seen a significant response for the American casualties. We haven't, we're also running out of time because of oil. We're running out of time because in the future there's going to be a war with China, etc. So this thing can't really, if I'm planning for ahead, which is what Dan Kane is doing, it makes more sense for me to be hesitant to use my missile interceptors. Brad Cooper's job is to get rid of the Islamic Republic. That's his job. And so he would want to use these missile interceptors. He wants to go all out and destroy them. And his boss, Dan Kane, is the one saying, hold up a minute. What if China? What if this? What if that? And we have to see at the end of the day, is the president of the United States going to listen to the commander of CENTCOM or his leading general of the military?
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.